Well, hey there, folks, and welcome back to Cowboy Survival. I'm Richard, and what we're going to do today is do an update on the Ozark Trail slide lock folding knives. We've seen these things, you've seen 1,000 videos on them, but we're going to take a look at this because they've got several versions. There's the original orange version that came out and was so hard to find and sold out really quickly. There's the white version that came out for $5 with a stainless steel blade instead of the D2 blade that came out around Thanksgiving, and it sold out at $5 a piece. Well, now they've got the orange one is back, but it's not just back, it's back and it's new and improved, and it's a little bit different than the original orange one. So we're gonna take a look at what the difference is in this knife compared to the other one. So stay tuned. Now remember, if you like this video today, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and hit that notification bell. So let's just get right into the video. So I've got all three knives here, and let's just take a look at the open ones first, and then we'll take a look at the new version of the orange knife. So this was the white or silver shaft, they call it, sort of an off-white knife. It was sold just before Thanksgiving. It does not have the steel liners down the side. It's a little bit thinner than the orange knife. It is a slide lock knife. It has a stainless steel blade as opposed to a D2 steel blade. So it's not going to hold its edge as well, but you can sharpen it up. It's just not going to hold the edge as well as D2 might. It says Ozark Trail here. It's got some texture on the handle right here, so that's kind of nice. But I don't think that texture really makes a difference to the way I grip the knife because it's not significant texture. It does have some chipping here on the top of the knife right here to hold your thumb. A very small finger choil right in here, very small finger choil, not very much at all. So, but for $5, it's not a bad looking little knife. Now, the orange knife that everybody went crazy over, the internet blew up over this knife. Okay, it came out, I guess, back in August, maybe September. It sold out uber fast at $10 per knife. It is a D2 steel, at least it says on the package that it's D2 steel. It has the steel liners down all the way, so it's a little bit thicker than the white knife, a little bit heavier, not much. Not so that I could tell a difference in it, to be honest with you. It's got a decent little edge on the blade. Certainly is pointy enough. So it's got the thumb little knobs here for you to release the knife that way and to deploy it. You can also deploy it just by holding the lock back and flipping it open, though I think this way seems to be the best way to open it. So it does say Ozark Trail on the knife blade, but that's the only kind of branding that you see anywhere on the knife. Doesn't say it anywhere else. The pocket clip is on here. It's a little bit different than the pocket clip on the white knife. You can see they're just a little bit different shape, but neither one of these can be reversed to the other side of the knife. So that's a downside for that. So let's take a look at the new knife that's just come out. Boy, it looks just like the original orange 7.5 inch slide lock, but it's just slightly different, and we're going to take a look at the differences. So let's just look at this knife by itself. The logo is just a little bit different on the knife than it was on the other knife. Not a lot, but a little. Comes in the same packaging as the original orange knife did. Half the handle is out, and the rest of it is inside the blade. It does have a point protector on the top of the blade. And it says right here on the packaging that it is D2 steel, D2 high carbon steel, it says. Injection handle, it's a G10 handle, nothing real terribly fancy, just a plastic handle really. So let's take a look at this knife. Let's pull it out of the package and see what it is like. So I'm gonna I've seen people do this, and I'm gonna try to do it where you just, there you go, just comes right out of the package like that. So a couple things about this knife you notice right off the bat. First of all, it's got the same texturing as the other knife does. It does feel a little bit different. When I feel the orange knife, the part that's not here, it's just slightly different. I don't think it's significantly different. But this is a little smoother on the original knife than it is on this one. But again, I don't think that's significantly different. The exact knife is exactly the same shape. Screws in exactly the same place. Everything else is exactly the same, except you'll notice something. See that knife's got 2 holes on it right there? The new version of the knife you can reverse the pocket clip. You can simply take it off this side, take the screws out, put them back in on this side right here. So that is an improvement on this knife. The blade, boy, this thing comes out very, very sharp. In fact, let's take a look at the grind. The grind is almost identical on each knife. I think they're probably made on the same machines. You know, they got the same thumb studs, same screws, it looks like. Everything else is identical on these knives. And so we flip it over, and this one says China, this one says China, but oh, wait a minute. The new one says something else on it. I don't know if you can see this or not. And I'll press it right in here, right in there, where my fingernail is. It says D2. It actually, they put D2 on the steel. It's not on the original knife, but the new knife has D2 right in here. You can actually see it better if the knife is closed. And it's right next to the thumb stud. See it right there, it says D2, right next to that thumb stud. So that makes this knife just a little bit different, a little bit better, I think, in that, first of all, you know it's D2 steel, they tell you, and the pocket clip is reversible. Now, other than that, I don't see a whole lot of difference in this knife and the other one, but it is a little bit different. And if you're one of those that likes the different variations on things that are out there, this is a new variation you might want to go take a look at. I do love my camp coffee. So there you have it, the alternative version of the orange Ozark Trail 7.5-inch axis lock knife. Nice little knife, $10 at Walmart. Now when you go to find this, you've got to go to the counter, and what you've got to do is you've got to ask them to look under the counter. They don't put these things out for people to see on the pegs. You're gonna have to ask them to look. And I asked the other day, I asked a young girl that was working back there, and I said, I wanna see if you got any of those orange knives left. Now, let me back up. I'd been there the day before and bought a couple, decided I wanted to go buy a couple more, so I went back the second day. So I knew exactly where they were. They were in the drawer behind the counter. I knew which drawer they were in, and I asked the girl about it, and she said, oh, we don't have any of those. I said, no, I think you do. Well, they're not out. I said, that's because they're in that drawer. Which drawer? That drawer right there, I pointed to it. She goes, oh. So she got the key, looked in it, and sure enough, there's a whole drawer full of them. Now, the first two she pulled out were the old version. I said, no, I don't want that one. I want that one right there. And I pointed to the one that I showed her that had the extra 2 holes on this side for the reversing of the pocket clip, and she was able to get that for me. So I cut 2 of those, I got it out for you. So I kind of like getting the different version, but you have to ask for them. They're not gonna put them out on the shelf or out on the counter for you to get. You're gonna have to ask for them. So ask for them when you get back there, make sure they look in the drawers. Even if they tell you they don't have them, make sure they look in the drawers just to make sure. So remember what we always say, stay strong, stay prepared, have a blessed day, and we'll see you real soon right here on Cowboy Survival.